In this video, we'll be verifying trigonometric identities. So let's say that we have a question like this. Let's say we have cotangent squared x plus cosecant squared x is equal to cosine squared x plus 1 divided by sine squared x. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna determine which side is the more complex side. So this is the more complex side, which means that we manipulate this side to try to make it look like this side. This is gonna be our goal side, and this is gonna be untouched for the most part. So let's try to get everything on the complex side in terms of sine x and cosine x. So what's the first thing we can do here? Well, we see cotangent x, and we know that cotangent is just the same thing as is defined as cosine x over sine x, and we have to square that whole entire thing, and then we can transform cosecant x into 1 plus sine x, and then we have to square this whole thing. And now we can distribute the squares into the individual terms, and 1 minus sine squared x. Now we can combine this entire fraction to be over one common denominator. So we're gonna write this as cosecant x, cosine squared x plus 1 divided by sine squared x. And now on the left side is going to be equal to the right side. So once this happens, we have successfully verified the trigonometric identity, and you can write a check mark and write QED, which is basically something you write when you finish a proof. So let's do another question. Let's say we have 1 divided by 1 plus tangent of x is equal to cosine x divided by cosine x plus sine x. So let's start with rewriting the left side to look like the right. So we're gonna take this, and we see the tangent x, so we can turn the tangent x into sine x over cosine of x, and we can now from here, let's try to get this entire thing as one single fraction in the denominator. So we can basically do 1 instead of, you know that 1 is just basically this anything over anything. So anything over anything where like it's the same in the numerator and denominator, that's just going to be equal to 1. So we're going to do this trick with cosine. So we're going to say cosine x plus sine x. Basically, you're going to add that to the numerator because it's basically the same thing, because the denominator is cosine x, and you know that would cancel out anyways and make 1. So you set that, so that's going to be equal. Now we can, and dividing a fraction is basically the same thing as multiplying it by its reciprocal. So we can do 1 times cosine x over cosine x plus sine x. Now from here we have cosine x divided by cosine x plus sine x, and that is equal to what our goal was. So we have successfully proved that our trigonometric identity holds true. So we are finished for this. Now let's continue with another problem. Let's do this problem. Let's say that we have cotangent squared of x divided by 1 plus cosecant x is equal to 1 minus sine of x over sine of x. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the left side, and we're gonna rewrite cotangent as cosine of x over sine of x and square that. We're going to divide that by 1 plus 1 over sine of x, which is the same thing as cosecant x. And I'm just going to highlight them so you can see exactly where we are plugging in this stuff right here. That's equal, that's equal. So now we can rewrite this and simplify this further by distributing that exponent sign to the cosine x and the sine x. So that becomes sine squared x, and then you divide that, and we're going to try to again get a common denominator in the denominator of the overall fraction with sine x plus 1 divided by sine x. Now we're going to divide the fraction, and dividing a fraction is basically the same thing as multiplying the numerator by the reciprocal. So you're going to have cosine squared of x divided by sine squared of x times sine of x divided by times sine of x divided by sine of x plus 1. And from here you just multiply straight in the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. So yeah, you're gonna have cosine squared of x over sine of x times sine x plus 1. And the reason why one sign disappeared is because here the one sign would be left because one would be canceled out from having a common factor. And now after this, we can use the fact that cosine squared of x is the same thing as 1 minus sine squared of x. And this is basic, and yeah, this is equal to 1 minus sine of x, move this over a little bit, times 1 plus sine of x when you FOIL that. So we can substitute 1 minus sine squared. We have that from FOILing, so we can plug that in for cosine squared of x. So we have 1 minus sine of x times 1 plus sine of x divided by sine of x times sine of x plus 1. And now we can just cancel 1 plus sine of x. Right there, it's just written in a different order. And then you're left with 1 minus sine of x over sine of x, which is equal to the right. 1 minus sine of x is equal to 1 over sine of x. So you have successfully proved that the trigonometric identity is true and QED, and we are finished.